Hello, welcome to me pinning a scorpion. I am not a professional, just wanted to get that out of the way up top. These are the supplies that I am using to do this project. Everything is listed in the description along with the article that I read to teach me how to pin a scorpion because I've never done this before. This is my subject. I am using the species Paruroctonus silvestrii if you're curious. The first thing that I have to do is gut the scorpion. Since this is quite a large species, if I didn't take out the insides, then it would start to rot and get misshapen and smell bad. So it's quite an important step for something this large. So this first step of pins is pretty much just to keep it in place so that I can cut into it and take out all of the nasty stuff. If you're sensitive to nasty stuff and don't want to see scorpion insides, I have listed all of the timestamps below, so you can skip ahead if you need to, but it's not it's a lot less gross than I was expecting. It's pretty much just brown goo, but I had to clean her off because she had a bit of sand on her. And then I went to make my first incision. I just used a scalpel to cut right where the top of the exoskeleton meets the belly of the scorpion, I guess you could say. There's going to be a small section of softer skin, you can call it. Some people say it feels like cutting into leather. It's not super soft. I don't know what cutting into leather feels like per se, but it does take a little bit of oomph to cut into it. And I apologize for my poor camera skills. But once the incision was made, I tried a couple different ways to get the insides out, many which did not work. The article suggests using a syringe. I don't have a syringe, so instead I used a cotton swab dipped in acetone and just rubbed around in there until the cotton swab came out clean. Again, it's pretty much just brown goop, and you can just pretend it's something else. And I know people are going to make fun of the fact that I'm wearing gloves. I don't care. It still grosses me out a little bit. Again, it's my first time doing anything related to things like this. I know people that don't wear gloves when they do dissections, and I still do because I'm a baby. I'm a baby in the science world. I'm trying my best. And I will warn you that doing this will destroy your styrofoam. Nobody told me that acetone melts styrofoam, and now I have a big old hole in my styrofoam. But that's totally my fault. I should have known that was gonna happen. Obviously that was gonna happen. But just something to be aware of if you are doing this for the first time like me. Once it was gutted and I soaked it in acetone to make sure it was fully clean, I went on to stuff my scorpion. I am using just cotton. I'm using cotton balls that I ripped up, and I'm just stuffing it until it looks like it has life back in her. This part I went a little bit rogue with as well, did not follow the article. They used some type of filling made of like wood glue. I don't have wood glue. So this is what I did, and I just kind of mushed it around as if it was a Build-A-Bear until it looked how it would if it was alive. And then I just glued her back up. I used Gorilla Glue, just clear Gorilla Glue with a toothpick, which is also not described in the article that I'm following. But sometimes we have to be creative when we're making art. And I think it's gonna be okay. Next is the actual fun part, the actual pinning of the scorpion, making it come to life, and what we've all been waiting for. There's really no way to describe what I'm doing. Even the article was like, just do what your heart desires, and that's exactly what I did. It's just using the pins to make it come to life, just helping the exoskeleton dry in a formation that you like. You do not have to ever put pins directly into the scorpion. I only put pins on the outside, kind of just lining everything up and holding everything in place. And that seemed to work very well. If you're wondering why all of a sudden I'm posting scorpion taxidermy when I normally post my pets, no, this was not my pet. I am doing research with a professor on this species of scorpions. I like to study animal behavior, and this is just a small study that I was doing with him because he's the scorpion guy. And you know, sometimes when you're doing studies on animals, when you're keeping those animals in captivity for long periods of time to collect data, sometimes those animals die, and I asked to take the dead scorpion home, and he didn't even think twice about it. He said, sure, I've asked weirder questions. So then I had a dead scorpion in my freezer. And I've always really enjoyed the look of pinned insects. I think they are beautiful, and I love when people make art out of the dead. I think it's a great way to respect the living and show beauty in all stages of life, and I respect it a lot, and I've always wanted to try it. My only experience with pinning insects or invertebrates before was during an internship where I would pin bees. We were doing just a population study on native bees, and pinning bees is way easier than this. It just takes one pin and then adjusting legs. So this was quite a big leap from that to a full-blown gutting taxidermy process, but I really enjoyed it. I think pinning insects or inverts is really fun. I don't think I could ever do like full-blown taxidermy other than skull cleaning and invert pinning, but I really like this, and I know people might hate this video. Either it's gonna find an audience of people who hate dead things and don't want to watch this, which is totally normal and fine, and I respect it, or it's gonna find professionals who are going to hate the fact that I'm using sewing needles and incorrect skills. But again, this is just for fun. I'm a 19-year-old girl who happened to have a dead scorpion in her freezer. So, just for fun, to share an experience that I'm having as a college student studying zoology. Now is the fun part. I did not know how I was going to pin the tail because I really wanted it in a kind of an alert stance. To an extent, I wanted the pedipalps to be out and up in this tail, to be curled. And so that is what I'm doing. I used another piece of styrofoam with pins to just lean up against, and I think I did a really good job. For my first ever project this big, I'm very proud of myself. It is still currently drying. It takes, according to this article, 1 to 2 weeks for a specimen this big, so I haven't unpinned it, and I'm terrified to, because I'm so scared my hour and a half of hard work is going to just crumble. But I will keep my Instagram updated on that. It just looks like a mess of pins, but if you can see through it, I think she's gonna turn out amazing. And I do have a couple other scorpions that I can pin and do something fun with. If you're curious, I'll post more about these types of projects on my Instagram. People seem to like it there, which is why I'm posting a video here. And I hope you enjoy it. Let me know if you've ever pinned insects. I've had some people tell me about their experiences. I love it. I love seeing people's work. And I hope you enjoy it.